I was employed at American Apparel for a period of 2 years, and during my time there, I witnessed the implementation of a controversial company-wide recruitment policy. This policy was like nothing I'd ever encountered before. It involved a shocking requirement. All job applicants had to be photographed, providing one headshot and one full-body picture as part of their application. Strangely enough, the company discarded the actual resumes, giving more weight to the photographs. The surreal aspect didn't end there. Once the pictures were taken, they were sent to a company email address, where an anonymous individual would give a simple thumbs up or down based solely on these images. The employees, including myself, were then encouraged to actively recruit new staff, both within the store and out on the streets. The incentive? A $100 bonus for every person successfully approved. As if this wasn't bizarre enough, the ordeal didn't stop with prospective employees. Before implementing this new process, they decided to have all existing staff members photographed, once again requiring a headshot and full body shot. Those who were deemed physically unworthy, according to the mysterious evaluator, were summarily let go from the company. Legally, this was a highly questionable practice, but just before the rollout, every employee was handed a waiver form loaded with legal jargon. We were given an ultimatum: sign it on the spot or face termination. American Apparel had another rather unsettling feature, an intranet website, which was a primary communication channel used by the founder, Dov Charney, to convey his messages to the staff. This site featured images of employees from various stores, and Dov was not shy about expressing his opinions on their appearance. Those who didn't meet his exacting standards were publicly shamed for having ugly makeup, tattoos, piercings, or even what he deemed as too thin eyebrows. To top it off, he would post memos with directives like hire EMO or Asians. My time at American Apparel was marked by these peculiar policies, and the whole experience left me bewildered and questioning the ethics of the company. It was indeed a strange chapter in my working life. Working at Target was quite the adventure. I was tasked with 2 roles during my time there: sales floor duties, which included tidying up after customers who casually tossed their unwanted clothing on the wrong racks, and being the phone operator. This might not sound like the most thrilling job, but there were a few intriguing aspects to it. Interestingly, at most Target locations, the phone operator also doubles as the fitting room operator. This is where things took an unexpected turn. You see, it was during this role that I stumbled upon a well-kept secret: a camera hidden in the fitting rooms. While the store had its reasons for this, it certainly added a layer of intrigue to my everyday tasks. Aside from this peculiar discovery, there were certain things we, as employees, weren't allowed to divulge to the customers. Most of these hush-hush topics revolved around our store's asset protection. For example, we couldn't disclose the identities of our undercover security personnel or hint to customers that they were being discreetly observed as they roamed the store. Now, I know it might not be the most thrilling story, but it certainly provided an interesting behind-the-scenes look at how the retail world operates. Plus, it's always good to know that your privacy in those fitting rooms is taken seriously, even if it did give me a glimpse into a well-guarded secret. Having worked at various major Canadian alternative financial businesses, I've come to realize that certain practices are prevalent across the industry. This isn't just about one specific company. It extends to names you've likely heard before, such as Money Mart, Cash Money, Speedy Cash, and Rapid Cash. So when I say this, you can bet it's an industry-wide phenomenon. Let's dive into the rather clandestine world of alternative finance. To the customer, it might seem like there's a well-structured authorization system in place. We talk the talk, emphasizing how all the information is meticulously entered into the computer, sent off to the head office for approval. But truth be told, there's no such system. Each and every decision is made right there in the store by a live, breathing employee. Now, you might wonder why we create this facade. It's all about protection. safeguarding ourselves from some less than pleased customers who may take issue with our decisions. Picture this. We decline a check, and the customer, convinced they've been wronged, decides to hang around, possibly ambushing us when our shift ends. Don't worry, we've got security procedures in place for that eventuality too. For instance, when you hand me a check that appears to have been written using the same pen as your signature on the back, you might hear me say, "My system is just asking me to verify this. I'll be right back." The truth: there's no such system. I'm concerned that you're trying to pass off a stolen check. Or consider when you hand me a low-sequence check, like one numbered 3 from a numbered company. My first thought: this might be a questionable business. So I might tell you, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but my authorization system is down right now. Can you come back tomorrow?" This gives me time to run a search to determine when the company was registered, who it's registered to, and so forth. And when you request 70% of your net pay on your very first payday loan, my response might sound like, "I'll try, but my system usually only approves 30 to 40% on a first loan." In reality, I could offer you more, but I might not fully trust you. I'd add, I might be able to get you a little more if you have any references verifiable in the phone book. Do you know anyone with a landline? The most classic example: sending $2,000 to Nigeria with some generic test question, like, "What's your favorite color?" To this, I'd say, "Sorry, my Western Union system is down." But you and I both know that Western Union is like a rock. It never falters. What I can't tell you, though, is that it doesn't make sense for a splendid 2-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city to cost just $300 a month, complete with a substantial deposit, and a landlord situated in a foreign country who will graciously agree to show you the place just as soon as he gets your security deposit, which you'll likely never see again once you hand over that 10-digit number on the receipt. The thing is, we pin the blame on the system because it serves a purpose. It shields us and keeps us secure. It also makes it challenging for customers to argue with us when they believe we have no control over it. But here's the secret: we do. Now let's talk about the instances when the person you're dealing with isn't the sole decision maker. It typically happens with newer employees who haven't yet earned the company's trust. For instance, someone who's been working for less than 6 months may need actual approval from another employee to deal with a hefty sum, like a $4,000 check. So, next time you walk into one of these establishments, remember that behind the facade, there's often more to the story than meets the eye. It's a world of secrets, unwritten rules, and employee discretion. My mother, a dedicated school teacher in an inner-city middle school, faced a perplexing challenge. She was strongly discouraged from failing any student for any reason. This unspoken rule, hanging like a dark cloud over her profession, held a subtle but powerful sway. The fear was that if you failed too many students, you'd be sentenced to the worst school in the district. This policy remained unchallenged during her tenure, but eventually imploded 2 years after she retired. It was a day like any other when this policy, like a cracked mirror, revealed its fractured nature. One of her fellow teachers was subjected to a shocking act of violence. A student, in a fit of rage, assaulted her, resulting in her hospitalization due to an aggravated heart condition. The aftermath was even more disturbing. The higher-ups attempted to hush the incident, exerting pressure like unseen hands in the shadows. They whispered that if she dared to press charges, or worse, if she decided to leak the details of the incident to the public, her fate would be sealed. A swift transfer to the worst school in the district, a place synonymous with despair and chaos. In the midst of it all, my mother and her coworkers found themselves trapped within a system that prioritized appearances over the very welfare of those who dedicated their lives to teaching. They toiled relentlessly in overcrowded classrooms, where their dedication often went unacknowledged and unappreciated. This unsettling episode was a stark reminder of the disturbing undercurrents that can flow through educational institutions, a world that should be dedicated to nurturing young minds and ensuring the well-being of educators. It serves as a testament to the incredible resolve and dedication of teachers who stand at the front lines, not just against ignorance, but sometimes against the system itself. I worked at Target for a significant period, where my role encompassed being the store operator and the fitting room attendant. A pervasive rumor suggested the existence of hidden cameras in these fitting rooms to deter shoplifters and ensure the security of the merchandise. However, I can confirm that during my tenure, there were certainly no cameras discreetly observing customers within the fitting rooms. Several compelling reasons backed up this assertion. First and foremost, our asset protection team was not in the habit of relying on hypothetical hidden cameras. Whenever I found tags discarded in the fitting rooms, they would spring into action, scouring the store to identify the suspected shoplifter. If hidden cameras indeed monitored the fitting rooms, it would have been a far more efficient method to catch the culprits. Additionally, the constant presence of Target employees within these fitting rooms for various legitimate reasons further substantiates the absence of concealed cameras. Team members frequently ventured into these spaces to perform their tasks or take short breaks. If hidden cameras were in place, it's almost certain that the employees would have been cautioned against such intrusion. This revelation may come as a surprise to many who believed that such surveillance was commonplace in retail settings. However, my first-hand experience contradicts these misconceptions, as our store placed its trust in asset protection staff and established security measures to deter theft, rather than secretive surveillance cameras.